So I needed a volume control pedal, and I needed one that was compact, not normal size one that would fit like on a pedal board. I'm not going to use it on a pedal board, but that's the size I needed. Now, normally I would build one, but it seemed like an awful lot of trouble. And right now it's winter and I can't really work in my workshop. So I said, let me get one. Let me go buy one. So I plunked down 40 bucks and I got this thing. And it's pretty nice. It's got a nice range of motion and it's smooth. But the problem is it doesn't go like from full on to full off and give me that adjustment definition that I really wanted. So I said, well, what the hell? I'll have to build one my own. But I can't do it out of wood or anything like that. But luckily, I have a 3D printer, and I designed one that I think worked out pretty good. It's all 3D printed. There's only a few electrical parts in here that aren't, and some hardware. But everything else is 3D printed, so it works out real great. And you know what? It's a lot cheaper than what I spent on that thing. So I'm going to show you what's inside here, and then we're going to go through the process that I used to build it, which I recorded previously. So let's give it a shot. Here we go. Well, I've blown it up figuratively just to show you what's inside. You can see there's not a whole lot of parts except for the screws and the pot, the jacks, and a few other things. So, like I said, all the mechanical and electrical parts, in this case, cost under $8. That includes the printing and everything. So let's see how I put this darn thing together. Let me just pick up the last of the rubber feet that are going to be installed into the existing holes here that were printed when I printed this case. Now, in order to print the case, you need an STL file, and where to find the STL files and get them is listed in the description below. With that done, we now only have to put the audio jacks in, like that, and the nameplate on top of the audio jacks. The nameplate lets us know which of the audio jacks is in and which the audio jacks is out. And it's held in place by the nut that secures the audio jack. And there's only one problem right now. The markings on the nameplate are the same color as the background of the nameplate. So we have to color these a bright color compared to the background so they'll be able to be seen very easily. And we're going to do that next. Here's the nameplate, and here are two pieces of flat stock. Could be anything, could be wood, metal, glass, doesn't matter. And there's a little brush. Now, I'm using that masking tape to take the nameplate and put it onto the flat stock and secure it temporarily. So it's going to be like sort of a stamp. That's all done. So now I'm going to take some paint, some regular household paint. In this case, I have some white household paint, and I'm going to brush it lightly onto the other flat surface. So now I have a stamp and a stamp pad. So I'm just going to take the stamp, put it lightly on the stamp pad. Doesn't have to be crunched in. Take it off, and you get some nice marking on the nameplate. Isn't that cool? Well, let's put that aside and let it dry. Now that the nameplate's dry, I'm starting to put in the audio jacks and the nameplate. Now let me get the nuts that hold the jacks in and tighten them up. I'm doing the wiring and soldering now, just completing it as a matter of fact. And as you see, I'm using about 6-inch length of wire that's been twisted together. I have a black, a yellow, and a white. And I'm using the white for ground. And you notice the yellow is connected to the audio jack on the left, And that audio jack is the out. And the black is connected to the audio jack on the right, which is the in. And when we go over to the potentiometer, you notice I have the out lead on the left-hand lug, I have the in lead on the middle lug, and I have ground on the right-hand lug. And I've applied some solder to the back of the pot and taken a piece of wire and I've attached it to the back and also to ground. And that provides a little bit of a ground shield for the pot, so any noise that might go in is severely reduced. Now let me get the top. Now here's the top, and we're going to put the pot onto the top. First thing I'm going to do is take this spacer that I made, put it on here, so that'll space it out just right. Then we'll put this on like this. Next thing we need is the pinion gear. And you notice that the pinion gear has a little piece in the middle, and that mates with the shaft of the potentiometer and keeps it from rotating on the pot. So let's take the rack and put it in here. Now when this is in this position, this should be at a minimum. So we're going to turn this fully clockwise. Now we're going to take the rack and bring it in and put about 2 teeth up, just about so it's flush with the top here. And then put the pinion gear in and mate the pinion gear with the rack. There we go. And that goes nice, just like that. Before we do anything, let's take and check this out. Put this, connect the output and the input, and yeah, that sounds really good. I'm getting the nice definition that I wanted. So that's working fine. And I can attach the top to the case with 4 1/2-inch black sheet metal screws. And there we go. Let's try it again. Working great. Now we're going to get the rest of the pieces of the volume pedal and finish the assembly. Well, the case top is in now, and now I put on the pedal, and I'm using number 6 sheet metal screws and flat washers to attach the pedal to the top. And you can use 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, it doesn't really matter as long as you have at least 1/2 inch long. Okay, screw those in, that's pretty good. There's only one thing left to do. I have to attach the rack to the pedal. And I have this little pin which has a little bulbous end so it doesn't go through the hole. And I'm pulling up the rack and I'm placing the hole in the rack near the hole in the pedal. Now I take the pin and push it in and then down. And that's it. I don't have to attach it any further. And that's it. It's all ready to go. So that looks pretty good. Let's check it out one more time. And don't worry that the plug connected to the out jack says in. That's just a spare cable that I had around that was marked that way. Everything's ready. It's all ready to go. So let me put up a list of all the parts that you have to get in order to do this project. Here they are. Oh, and by the way, if you've gotten this far, please click the like button because that's the only way the algorithm knows that I'm even alive, and maybe this video will be shared. So we have the potentiometer, the 2 connectors, the sheet metal screws, the other 2 screws for the pedal, and some miscellaneous stuff like hookup wire, the actual 3D printed parts, and rubber feet, if that's what you'd like to use. Now, I'm going to show you what that potentiometer looks like if you go to Amazon And note a few things. Note that it's the long shaft version and that the shaft itself is split. And if you want to search for it, use this phrase. So finally, we got the STL files. 3 of those files have asterisks on them. And those files are for a version that allows you to put the audio jacks on the side of the case instead of in the front of the case. So for instance, if you want to use this on a pedal board, most of the pedals have the audio jacks on the sides. So you can use those 3 STL files instead of the case and the nameplate files. The rest of those files I use with either version. And take a look in the description again to see where you can download those files and start printing, because then you can have your own mini volume control pedal. Until the next time.